Students, today we're going to proceed further in the chapter of foreign exchange. Lecture 1, we have already done these topics. Meaning of foreign exchange, meaning of foreign exchange rate. It is the rate at which home currency is exchanged with the foreign currency. Flexible exchange rate system, where rate of exchange is decided by the forces of market demand and market supply. Then we also discussed how the foreign exchange rate is determined. There are two sides, demand side and supply side. And just to recap, when the foreign exchange rate is low, more of foreign currency is demanded. So the demand curve slopes downward. And it is opposite for the supply side. When the rate of exchange is high, there is more inflow of foreign currency through exports and foreign direct investments in a country. So the supply curves move upward. Equilibrium exchange rate is the rate at which the demand and supply of foreign currency is equal. Sometimes there is a shift in the demand curve. So how does the shift in demand and supply curve affect the exchange rate? So due to the shift, the exchange rate moves upwards, and this is known as depreciation of home currency. And when the supply is more and supply curve shift to the right, the exchange rate falls down, and that is called appreciation of home currency. Then we discuss about the difference between appreciation and depreciation and the effect of appreciation and depreciation on exports and imports. Just to recap, when currency is depreciated, that means the exchange rate goes up, it leads to more of exports because exporters will get more home currency, more rupees in exchange of dollars. So let's proceed to the next system called fixed exchange rate system. Now, what is fixed exchange rate system? In a fixed exchange rate system, the rate of exchange is officially fixed by the central government. And as you know, the central bank is under the central government. So the Central Bank of India, when it fixes the exchange rate, it is called fixed exchange rate system. Foreign currency is bought and sold by the central bank at the pre-decided fixed exchange rate system. However, the central bank has the power to revise the exchange rate as per the market situation. So let us suppose the market exchange rate is say 50. The central bank feels that 50 is too low, it can revise. So the central bank has the power to revise and intervene the exchange rate system. The fixed exchange rate system was prevalent till 1970, but nowadays it is no more. However, the central bank has the power to intervene and change the exchange rate system. Let us suppose we are following fixed exchange rate system and the central bank fixes the exchange rate either higher or lower than the market exchange rate system. So in case, so just to remember, under the fixed exchange rate system, the rate of exchange is officially fixed by the central bank. That's the point to remember. Exporters, when they export, they get dollars. In exchange of dollars, they'll get the currency at the fixed exchange rate system as decided by the central bank. In case an importer, he needs foreign currency for importing, he will get the foreign currency at the fixed exchange rate fixed by the central bank. If the exchange rate is fixed higher than the equilibrium exchange rates, look at the diagram. The equilibrium exchange rate is 70, where there is demand O and supply O, where there is equilibrium between demand and supply at point E. Now, if the government fixes the exchange rate 75, what will happen? The demand will come down to Q2. There will be less of imports, less of foreign travel. So the demand for foreign currency will be lower as compared to supply. Supply will be Q3. So why there is more supply? When the rate of exchange is high, that will benefit the exporters. So there will be increase in the exports. That is one factor. Secondly is the foreign direct investment. The investors from abroad will be encouraged to invest in India. So that will lead to higher foreign direct investment because they get more for every dollar they spend in India. So there will be higher supply of foreign currency. That is the reason there is excess supply. So if there is excess supply, what will happen? Rupees 70 is the equilibrium exchange rate. Rupees 75 is set by the government under RBI. The value of domestic currency has been deliberately lowered by the government because people are now paying 75. When the rate of exchange goes up, the home currency value goes down, and this is known as devaluation. So hence this is a new point for you, devaluation. Earlier we discussed depreciation. Depreciation happens under flexible exchange rate system. So now you need to understand the difference between depreciation and devaluation. Depreciation happens when the rate of exchange goes up. That is called equilibrium exchange rate goes up, demand and supply forces. Whereas devaluation happens under fixed exchange rate system. Nothing to do with the equilibrium. It is fixed by the government higher means it is raised from 70 to 75, 75 to 80. So when the rate of exchange is raised, it is known as devaluation under fixed exchange rate system. Depreciation is a term used under flexible exchange rate system. So what are the implications of devaluation? What will happen? Devaluation lead to excess supply of foreign currency because exports will rise, foreign direct investment will rise. Under fixed exchange rate system, the government will have to absorb. Now, if the supply is more, demand is less of foreign currency, where will the foreign currency be kept? The government will have to keep with Reserve Bank of India. So hence the foreign exchange reserve with RBI will go up. Accordingly, the government's reserve of forex is known as foreign exchange, will rise with RBI. So that's the implication of devaluation. Excess supply, the government will have to buy, pay to the exporters. Those who invest in India, they will bring dollars, and in return of dollars, they will use the home currency. So the foreign currency reserve of the government will go up. The opposite is the effect when the rate of exchange is set lower than the equilibrium exchange rate system. Now look at the diagram. R1 is the equilibrium exchange rate and R0 is lower. So when there is a lower exchange rate fixed, The value of domestic home currency is deliberately raised when the rate of exchange is lowered from, let's say, from 70 to 50. The exporters will get less. So home currency value is raised by the government. This is called revaluation. Revaluation is opposite of appreciation. So now student, to understand the difference between appreciation and revaluation, you need to study this topic in detail from the book as well. So what will happen when the currency is revalued? Rate of exchange falls. So there will be more demand of foreign currency in the international money market. More demand. Supply is less, demand is more. Who will fill the gap? Under the fixed exchange rate system, the RBI will have to meet the excess demand by releasing foreign currency from the reserves in the international money market. So in case supplies are not absorbed, if the RBI doesn't do this, they may emerge black market for the sale and purchase of dollars. So hence the under fixed exchange rate system, if supply is more, the government will buy. If demand is more, the government will supply foreign currency. That's a simple fundamental implications. Then question, why do less developed countries often devalue their currency? Devaluation means lowering the value of home currency as against dollars. So it means the exchange rate is deliberately raised by the government. The dollar become costly. Say the rate of exchange is raised from 70 to 75. How will this affect? First, there will be rise in exports because now the exporters will get more Indian rupees in exchange of dollars. Second, rise in foreign direct investment (FDI). The foreign direct investment will rise because the investors now get more for every dollar invested in the country. And positive effect on balance of payment. Balance of payment is a statement of foreign currency in and out. So the balance of position improves due to rise in the flow of dollars into the economy. This inflow can be used because now we have more foreign currency coming in. This can be used for import of essential items into the economy. So that was the basic understanding of fixed exchange rate system.